Hello, welcome to the Do Business Like a Woman show. And today we are talking about knowing your numbers. Now, I was the first one to shy away from this. I have a real fear of numbers. When I was at school, math was my worst subject. I really struggled at GCSE and I did incredibly well at many of the other subjects, but math was always my weakness. And so I believe that I'm dyslexic when it comes to numbers. I think it's called dyscalculia. Oh, I can't say it. But dyslexic when it comes to numbers. And, so this was a really tricky piece for me in my business. So if you shy away from this at all, please know that you're not alone, and know that if I can, hi Kath, hi Charlie, know that if I can get to grips with my numbers in my business, you absolutely can too. And so today I'm going to share with you which are the important ones to focus on, because what does it even mean, know your numbers? It's pretty vague. So you need to know exactly which numbers you need to focus on in your business so that you can continue to grow your business and continue to be profitable. Or if you're not profitable yet, become profitable, because otherwise you have an expensive hobby rather than a business, and I want for you to have a business. So that's what we're talking about today. By the end of the show, you'll know exactly what to focus on to really have success in your launches and not get disheartened, and know what the numbers mean and how to make sense of it all so that you're genuinely profitable in your business. Sound good? Leave me a comment below. Alrighty, so first of all, some statistics. Did you know that only 4 out of 10 online launches actually succeed? Now, when I first heard this, I kind of wasn't surprised, because I'd been in the online world for a bit and I'd seen just how hard it was to pull off a successful online launch. But it was still kind of disturbing, and a bit disheartening. But that is the truth of it. Now, there are things we can do to increase our chances of our online launches being successful. But here's what I want to say. If you have had any type of failure with trying to attract clients online, perhaps doing a launch of a program, then don't stress, particularly if you're new, because it's really, really normal. It's like a rite of passage that we all go through to have a failed or just not so hot launch. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you don't get anyone, or does it mean you wanted 10 people but you got 5, or perhaps you wanted 20 people but you got 10? So even the word failure is open to interpretation. But what I'm here to do today is dispel some of the myths and really show you what the numbers mean, because it's always eye-opening. Women come to me all the time disheartened because they say to me, Julie, I'm trying to get my message out there online and I'm doing all this stuff and nothing's happening. Or I tried to do a launch for my program and no one bought it, and they're really disheartened, and sometimes considering giving up. And then we look at the numbers and we look at the size of their email list, we look at the amount of people that came on their webinar or to their Zoom call, and then the numbers make sense, and it's just literally statistical as to why they didn't sell the amount of places that they wanted to sell. So oftentimes we women, I find, we really emotionalize this. So we bring our emotions in and we think it means something about us. We make it about us, and actually this piece is purely masculine energy. It's purely numbers. It's pretty much the hardest, coldest facts that you will get in your business. So let me share this with you. A couple of things. Firstly, like I said in the description, when Tony Robbins did his first ever event, he only got 7 people. I was super surprised to hear that, because he's so big and we think of him as this big, he sees millions and millions and billions of people today, but that's where he started. So that's kind of comforting, right, for us? All right, and here's the other thing that I want you to know about launching. Typically online you'll get a 1% conversion rate, right? So what does that mean? Well, that means if you have 100 people engaging with your launch, typically one person in that 100 will convert and buy your program. Now, it does vary a little bit depending on your niche and, depending on what you do to sell your program, but that's a very typical online launch. So, if you have an email list and you're doing email marketing and then you're bringing them onto a webinar, if you have 100 people on that email list that are engaging with what you're sending out, then one of those people will buy your coaching program, for example. So if you think about this kind of starts to make a bit of sense now for when, certain women at the beginning are coming to me and they're saying, oh, my online launch isn't working. And I say to them, what size is your email list? And they'll be like, oh, 100 people or, like 75 people or something. And then it completely makes sense because, well, there isn't even enough numbers there, even if everyone on the email list engaged, which they don't, right? So typically on an email list, and this is another number for you, if you're getting open rates of over 20% these days, that's pretty good. 25% and above is awesome. So even if you have a list of 100 people, let's just stick with that example because it's easy. Say you have a 25% open rate, that means 25 people are actually looking at that email for your launch, right? Or that series of emails for your program. Now, assuming that you've got your messaging spot on, assuming that you know your client avatar and all the other pieces are in place, they're also pieces of the equation, right? But you see how it starts to pan out. Now, there are things you can do to increase that conversion rate. Obviously, actually talking to people one-to-one. So whether that be on a Zoom call, whether it be in person or on the telephone, your conversion rate will go much, much higher. So, typically to sell a high-end coaching program, if you're getting a 25% conversion rate, that's a good conversion rate. So what that means is if you're talking to 4 people on discovery calls or on Zoom calls, and you actually sell one of those people into your high-end coaching program, well, that's quite a good result. So again, we women emotionalize. Perhaps you've done 2 or 3 discovery calls and you didn't get a sale, and then you're like, oh my god, and we do this, I do it too, right? Oh my god, nothing's working, like my business isn't working, why isn't it working? And it's just kind of, when we look at it, it's almost a little bit funny because, and I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at me because I do this, right? Because we haven't actually done enough sales calls to get the yes, right? And that's if you've really got your sales conversations down. If you've done the work and you're really good at selling, then a 25% conversion rate is, I'm getting all kinds of emojis now. This is obviously a triggering topic. I really get it. It is, I know. And, it's like, even if you have your sales conversations really, really good and you're really good at them, still 25% conversion rate is good, right? So that means 3 out of every 4 people you talk to for a high-end coaching program probably won't sign up to become a client. But when we know this, isn't it empowering? Because suddenly it's not about you, it's not personal, it's just the statistic, it's just the numbers, right? And when we understand that for an online launch, 1 out of every 100 who actually engage with the launch might go on to become a client, very typically, suddenly it's a game changer. We understand it's not about us, right? And yes, we do everything. We work to get our messaging down. We do all the things. Now, this is why when I work with someone, I recommend that to get clients, they start off with the really high touch, warm things like reaching out to people, going to networking events, building relationships, going and speaking at community groups. And then typically I get them to choose a couple of one online strategy that they're going to work. And again, it's really high touch. So it might be, Facebook, and I'm encouraging them to do Facebook Lives, building relationships, but then they're actually reaching out to people on Facebook and making those relationships. Because when you do it in that high touch way, it cuts through a lot of those barriers and it can really increase your conversion rates. So that's how we can go from like 1% and really increase that. And so there's a method to the madness, right? And so it's about, at the beginning, being really high touch, making relationships, preferably offline. Selling offline is 10 times easier. When you get good at selling offline and your message is down and you know your client avatar and you're good at your sales calls, then you get to go online. You get to start building the email list. You want to get a few hundred people on that email list. Now, I have strategies for that too. That's why I teach lead generation. Right, that's why I teach about creating a Facebook group, a community, bringing people into the Facebook group, bringing them onto the email list, just in case something happens to your Facebook, right? Because it can happen. So you're covering your back. And then building those relationships online too, knowing that if you do a launch and you get, 500 people engaging, you might get 5 sales for a high-end coaching program. Makes sense? Like, drop me a comment below. Let me know what's landing, how this is feeling to you, what your experiences have been, and ask me your questions as well. I want to know what's coming up for you. Like, what are your questions? Yeah, so the other numbers that you need to know are really your profits, right? So, do you know in your business what your income is? And I know it varies for most of us, but do you know typically what your income is each month in the year? Because there'll be a pattern throughout the year. Typically for me, August is a very low month. April is usually a very good month for some reason, and kind of January is usually a bit slower, December a bit slower, but then the rest of the year is pretty good. And I know this. And do you know what business expenses you have coming out? Do you know how many clients you need to bring in to hit your income goals this month? Right? We need to focus on these numbers because what we focus on grows. You know this, right? Basic quantum physics. So it's really, really important to understand how to create that profit in the business, to know, have a spreadsheet of your business expenses and to be in reality about it. Because I get this piece too. Like, I understand. I was the queen of not wanting to look and wanting to put my head in the sand because I love my business so much. And this was, at the beginning, loved it so much. I didn't want to know if it wasn't profitable. I really didn't want to know, but it's important that we know because then we have a starting point and we can do something about it. And, you're not in business to have an expensive hobby. You're in business to bring on clients, to make sales, and to have a profitable business that does good, and so have freedom in your life, right? So it's important that you know exactly what you need to bring in each month to be profitable. And then we take a deep breath and we just let any tension that comes up go, right? Because I know for me, as soon as I start looking at the numbers, I'm like, and everything's getting tight and I'm getting stressed and I'm like, how can I control this? I can't make money come in. Well, no, I can't make it come in. I just get to set the intention, right? This month I am going to earn, or I'd like to earn this amount, and that requires this many clients, and then I let it go to the universe. So it's about getting in reality with it, understanding the numbers, understanding what we're looking to create, and then surrendering, let it go. But it's not about being out of touch or putting our heads in the sand or just hoping, oh, well, I won't look at my expenses, but I just hope that I'll bring in some clients. No. Let's be serious businesswomen, because the world requires that now. It requires the feminine leader to step up into her power, and this masculine piece is part of it. So in Silicon Valley, they have a saying which is fail fast and fail often. And so this brings us back to what I was saying at the beginning, which is that if you are failing or you're not bringing in the clients you want or the numbers you want, don't worry about it. You know, the quicker you can fail, the quicker you can learn what to tweak, because it is just a process. There's a science to success, and this is no exception. So then we just look at it and we go, well, do you have enough people on your email list? Are you having enough sales conversations? And depending on the answer, we know where to focus. You know, if the answer is no, I'm not having enough sales conversations, I'm not having 5 conversations a month or 10 conversations a month or 20 conversations a month, whatever it is for you. And if you're not even having 5 conversations a month, you don't even have enough conversations to know whether you're converting well or not. Make sense? So leave me a comment below. Let me know how you are with your numbers. You know, are you on it? Like, what comes up for you? So stay with me, because I've got a couple of things to tell you about. I've got a video series releasing this week. It's called Undiscovered to Fully Booked, 5 steps to get all the clients you need. And it's a free video mini series, so completely free video course for you. I've put my heart and soul into it. It's the 5 signature system steps that I have used with my private coaching clients to help them get full schedules of clients, and I'm making it into a video. Well, I've made it into a video mini series which you can get for free. So if you're interested in that, let me know, drop me a comment below, and we will make sure that you get access to that free series that's coming out this week. We've also got the in-person event in London on Saturday, where we're going to go over the client generating strategies too, and we're having a really feminine experience together. There are just two tickets left for that now. So is one of them yours? Can you make it to London this weekend? Would you like to come and have a nourishing afternoon just for you and your business? Because business strategy is so important. We're going to map out the next quarter, that we're going to plan our numbers, right? We're going to set some income goals. We're going to keep breathing, and we're just going to let the universe take control and trust, right? So we've got all of that going on. The other thing that you know is available for you, if you would like, is a free business clarity call with me, and we sit down together, spend an hour together looking at your business, looking at maybe where you are getting stuck, so where the numbers are not making sense in your business, and really what needs to happen. And we explore which of the Do Business Like a Woman programs could be a good fit for you and your next steps. Right? So if you're stuck in your messaging, if you are struggling to get enough sales calls, or if you're getting on the sales calls and then you're not converting, or maybe you only have a small email list and you need to know how to generate leads consistently, I have strategies for that too that are working right now, that I do in my own business and that my clients do. And it's really fun. So if you'd like one of those calls, I do a limited number of those calls per month. They are for women who are considering my paid programs, but I'm absolutely here to support you if that would feel like a fit for you. If you're stuck right now and you're not profitable and you're not getting the clients and the engagement, go over to dobusinesslikeawoman.com/business-clarity-call. There's a button on the website too, on the homepage. You can just apply for one of those calls with me. I'd love to connect with you and help you with this. So don't be stuck. All right, let's see if we have any comments. So Jean says she loves the sound of my free videos. Thanks, Jean. Yeah, absolutely. So look out for those in the group and make sure you get on the list to receive those. I'll be posting an opt-in for those this week, so make sure you look out for those. Any questions, ladies? Like, how do you deal with your numbers? Are you good? I've just got my notes here. I'm just going to check that I have covered everything I wanted to cover. Yeah, it's just about being in reality with the numbers and being calm about it. Right, this is where I think men have the edge over us sometimes in business, is that they are just very kind of calm and focused when it comes to the numbers. They don't make it about them personally. They just understand that it's business. And so work with a mentor who understands this piece and who gets it and can help you look at your numbers. And because the numbers paint a picture, they tell you where in your business needs some attention. So make sure you get the support. Don't be frightened of failing. You know, it's all about getting stuck in, getting our hands dirty. As I shared, I've got my first in-person workshop coming up this week for Do Business Like a Woman. That's in London. The numbers aren't huge. I have made 15 spaces available. And as I said, we've got 2 tickets left. So I'm pretty proud of that. And particularly when you compare, you know, if Tony Robbins got 7 on his first event, well, I'm good with that. That's all right with me. So, you know, don't be frightened to fail. But when we get stuck in fear and we never move forward because we're frightened to fail, then we never get anywhere. You know, get a couple of failed launches under your belt. And, you know, you don't have to fail on your first launch either. It's not necessary. If you use a lot of the high touch methods that I teach and that I've been describing, remember that it is about relationship building and, you know, actually go and talk to people. If you have a process for your sales conversations, if you use online with a super clear message and a super clear client avatar and making those relationships online, reaching out to people, you're going to get way higher conversion rates, right? Getting people on the phone with you, doing those Zoom calls, issuing those invitations, you know, you can really, really make it so much more likely that you will succeed. But I just wanted to talk about this because I know, like, so many of us go through it at the beginning, and I can remember the beginning when I, you know, did my first ever few launches, and I was like, why is no one listening to me? Like, what's going on? Why is it so hard to sell anything? And it's just like a rite of passage, and it is to do with the numbers. And then as you grow and as you get experience with this, it becomes easy. So not easy, it becomes easier. So let's not be frightened of failing, right? All right, ladies, I'm going to wrap up. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. How did you find this? Do you know your numbers? Do you know your numbers? Let me know. I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.